Elon Musk, a name that resonates in the annals of innovation and ambition, an architect of dreams who has transformed science fiction into tangible reality. From electric cars that glide silently through the streets to rockets that tear through the skies in search of the stars, his trajectory is an epic of audacity and vision, a symphony of achievements that echoes through the corridors of time. But what if I told you that behind this triumphant melody, there exists a hidden score, a whispered story that lurks in the subtext of success? Yes, a narrative that involves an improbable encounter, a crossing of paths between the brilliance of the stage and the dimness of the alleys, between the apex of wealth and the harshness of survival. A man immersed in the anonymity of the streets, whose existence seemed so distant from Musk's universe, a specter on the fringes of society, became a fundamental piece in his personal epic, a missing link in the chain of events that shaped his journey. What happened to that man? Did he disappear into the shadows of the city, like a mirage at dawn? Or did his destiny, like an invisible thread, intertwine surprisingly with that of the billionaire, weaving a tapestry of coincidences and revelations that will challenge our understanding of fate, chance, and human nature itself? Prepare yourselves, dear viewer, for the truth that is about to be unveiled transcends all expectations, a narrative so surprising that it will transform your perception of the world and the power of human connections. We go back to 2008, a year that resonates in the annals of history as a landmark of turmoil and uncertainties, a period of profound transformation that shook the foundations of the global economy. The global financial crisis, like an implacable storm, shook markets, toppled empires, and sowed panic in the hearts of men and women from all corners of the planet. And at the epicenter of this whirlwind, Elon Musk, the visionary who defied the logic of the possible, found himself at a crossroads, at a crucial moment in his trajectory. Tesla, his bold foray into the universe of electric vehicles, struggled to stay afloat, like a small boat facing the giant waves of a raging ocean, threatened by the fury of the markets and the disbelief of investors. SpaceX, his ambition to conquer the stars, faced setbacks that seemed to undermine his dream, as if the very forces of the universe conspired against his vision. The pressure was an overwhelming burden, a mountain that seemed impossible to climb, a weight that threatened to crush his soul. Amidst this chaos, Elon, exhausted and disheartened, wandered through the streets of Palo Alto, California, like a specter seeking solace, a castaway lost on an island of concrete, searching for answers amidst the labyrinth of his uncertainties. And it was there, in that scenario of despair and uncertainty, that an improbable encounter materialized, an encounter that would change the course of his history forever, a turning point that would mark a before and after in his journey. A man whose life unfolded in the shadows of society, an anonymous man named Silas, with a wisdom that transcended the walls of institutions and the logic of markets, did something that no one would imagine, a gesture that would defy the very notion of chance. What did Silas say? It wasn't a word, it wasn't a sermon, nor was it a catchy phrase that could change the course of the stars. But his gesture, as simple as a ray of sunshine on a somber morning, a small gift, a look of understanding that seemed to decipher the enigmas of the soul and the mysteries of the universe, changed everything. But what was the meaning of that encounter? What was the message encrypted in that gift? What did Silas give to Elon, so that his vision was transformed, so that his journey was redirected? And why was this story so crucial to Musk's trajectory, so carefully erased from the official records, like a secret kept under lock and key, in a vault of silence, in a labyrinth of omissions? The official narrative of Elon Musk's life, the one that has been presented to us by the media, biographies, and inspirational speeches, is an epic of self-reliance and genius, a saga of a hero who conquered the world with his intelligence, his vision, and his unwavering determination, a titan who forged his path with tireless effort and unwavering faith in his ideas. He always emphasizes the importance of hard work, disruptive innovation, the audacity to challenge the status quo, to tread unexplored paths, and to pursue seemingly impossible dreams. But Silas's story, like a dissonant note in a perfect symphony, like a shadow that hides in the subtext of a fairy tale, does not fit into this script, does not fit into the narrative that has been presented to us. No mention of a beggar, no trace of a casual encounter, no acknowledgement of a gesture of kindness that could have influenced his path, as if Silas's story were a typo, a mistake that needed to be corrected. But is the absence of information irrefutable proof that this story never happened? Is the official narrative, so well constructed, so carefully edited, not in fact a smokescreen, a veil that conceals a deeper and more complex truth, a story that could threaten the image that Musk wishes to project to the world? And what if Silas, contrary to what one might imagine, was the missing piece in this intricate puzzle, a crucial element that could redefine our understanding of Musk's trajectory and the nature of success, a character that could show us that, behind the facade of genius and visionary, there is a human being, with his vulnerabilities and his life stories, with his fears and his hopes. And what if, in the labyrinth of history, there was a truth more surprising than we could ever imagine? The version that has been presented to us, the official story of Elon Musk, is an ode to self-reliance, a hymn to individual genius, a narrative that celebrates willpower, perseverance, and the ability to overcome obstacles. He, the architect of his own destiny, the titan who forged his path with tireless effort and a vision that transcends the limits of the possible, the visionary who transformed dreams into reality and defied the logic of the world. He tells us of his sleepless nights, his epic battles against adversity, his unwavering faith in his ideas, his determination to pursue his goals, but at no time does he mention the man from the streets, the anonymous one who crossed his path on that fateful day, the beggar who might have changed the course of his history. In Musk's speeches, in his interviews, in his biographies, there is no reference to Silas, no indication that that meeting took place, as if that moment, that gesture, that man had been erased from history, as if they had never existed, as if they were a detour in the plot of his life. But like a shadow that hides in the subtext, the absence of information raises disquieting questions, like an echo that resonates in the silence of omission. Why was this story omitted? Was it a mere oversight, a lapse in memory, a slip of attention? Or was there a deliberate decision to conceal the truth, to protect a narrative that did not fit the image that Musk wished to project to the world, as if Silas's story were a threat to his myth of self-sufficiency? Could Silas's story, so different from Musk's trajectory, reveal a side of his personality that he did not wish to display, a more human, more vulnerable, more dependent side of his connections with other people? And what if, behind the facade of genius and visionary, there was a human story, a story of vulnerability and empathy that would reveal a side of Musk that we do not yet know, a story that would challenge our own conception of success and achievement? Let's analyze the sources, dissect the interviews, examine the documents, like archaeologists in search of traces of the past. In the interviews given by Elon Musk over the years, in his inspirational lectures, in his critically acclaimed biographies, there is not a single mention of Silas, no indication that that meeting took place. He always emphasizes the importance of hard work, innovation, risk, and a vision of the future, but never mentions the possibility of having received help, advice, or inspiration from someone who was not part of his circle of trust, from someone who did not share his vision of the world. Newspaper clippings, magazine articles, book excerpts, all echo the same narrative: Elon Musk, the solitary genius, the relentless visionary who conquered the world with his determination and his intelligence, the hero who forged his own destiny with his willpower. But like an echo that resonates in the depths of silence, Silas's omission becomes an increasingly intriguing question, like an enigma that needs to be deciphered. Are we facing an incomplete narrative, a story that has been carefully edited to hide an uncomfortable truth, as if Silas's story were a threat to the myth of self-sufficiency that Musk built with so much care? And what if, behind the facade of success, there was a truth more complex and surprising than we could ever imagine, a story that could change our own conception of success and achievement? The meticulous analysis of the sources, the relentless search for details, the in-depth study of the official narrative, all leads us to an inevitable conclusion. Silas's story was deliberately omitted, like a secret kept under lock and key, like a mystery that needs to be unraveled. But why this omission? What would be the reason for hiding an encounter that apparently would not be important for Musk's trajectory, an encounter that, in principle, would have no relevant consequences in his life? Could Silas's story, so different from the official narrative, threaten the myth of self-sufficiency that he built with so much care, as if the truth was a threat to his image of a hero? And what if, behind the aura of genius and visionary, there was a human story, a story of empathy and connection that would reveal a side of Musk that we do not yet know, a story that could show us that success is not a solitary journey, but a collective construction that depends on human relationships and the exchange of experiences? And what if, behind the facade of success, there was a truth more complex and surprising than we could ever imagine, a story that could inspire us to value human connections and seek the truth behind appearances? Faced with the deliberate omission of Silas's story, we decided to take a different path, a path that would lead us beyond the official narrative, towards the hidden truth, like explorers in search of a lost treasure. Like detectives in search of clues, we delved into dusty archives, interviewed people who crossed Musk's path at that time, scoured social media and online forums, as if we were unraveling a labyrinth of secrets, as if we were deciphering an ancient code that could reveal the truth. The search was arduous, like climbing a steep mountain, like crossing a scorching desert, but at every step, we found fragments of information that brought us closer to the truth, like pieces of a puzzle that begin to fit together, revealing a more complete picture of the story. We discovered that, during that turbulent period, Musk was more vulnerable than he had ever admitted. The that the pressure was almost unbearable, that he was on the verge of collapse, and that he was desperate for a light, a spark of hope that could rekindle his flame, like a castaway in search of a lighthouse in the darkness of the night. And it was in this context of uncertainties and despair that the encounter with Silas became even more significant, like a ray of sunshine on a somber morning, like an oasis in the middle of the desert, a turning point that would change the course of his history forever. We delved into newspaper archives from that time, looking for any mention of a man who fit Silas's description, like archaeologists in search of traces of a lost civilization. We searched university records, hoping to find some trace of a brilliant engineer who might have crossed Musk's path in the past, like detectives in search of clues in a mysterious crime. We interviewed former college colleagues, former employees of Tesla and SpaceX, hoping to find someone who remembered some detail, some clue that could lead us to the truth, like investigators in search of witnesses in a complex case. And like pieces of a puzzle that begin to fit together, we found fragments of information that revealed a more complete picture of the story, as if the pieces of fate were uniting to reveal the hidden truth. We discovered that, in the halls of Stanford, there was a brilliant engineer, whose name echoed in academic circles, a genius of electronics who, for mysterious reasons, abandoned the academy and disappeared without a trace, as if he had been swallowed by the earth, as if the universe had conspired to erase him from history. And what if that man was Silas? And what if he had crossed Musk's path in the past, leaving an indelible mark on his trajectory, like a comet that crosses the sky and leaves a trail of light? And what if Silas's story was much more complex and surprising than we could ever imagine? A story that could show us that genius can arise anywhere, and that chance can lead us to unexpected paths. The interviews we conducted, even with the passage of time and the difficulty of finding eyewitnesses, revealed surprising details, as if the veil of time was unraveling to reveal the truth. A former college colleague of Musk, who preferred to remain anonymous, told us about a brilliant engineer, a genius of electronics who, for mysterious reasons, abandoned the academy and disappeared without a trace, as if he had become a legend. A former Tesla employee, who worked at the company in its early years, revealed to us that Musk was going through a time of extreme difficulty, that the pressure was unbearable, and that he was on the verge of collapse, like a ship adrift in the midst of a storm. A neighbor in the Palo Alto area, who crossed paths with Musk in the streets, told us about an unusual encounter, about a homeless man who seemed to have a connection with the billionaire, about a gesture that seemed to have a deep meaning, as if that encounter was a secret kept under lock and key. And what if all these pieces came together in a single puzzle, revealing a truth that has been carefully hidden for years, as if we were deciphering an ancient code that could change our own view of Musk's history? And what if Silas was not just a beggar, but someone with a secret story, a story that could redefine our understanding of Musk's trajectory, as if he were a fundamental character in his journey? And what if he had connections with the world of technology, with Musk's past, something that no one could imagine, as if he were a missing link in the chain of events that shaped his life? After months of tireless investigation, of relentless search for clues, of meticulous analysis of information, the truth began to emerge, like a flower that blooms in the garden of time, like a ray of light that pierces the darkness. Silas's identity, which had remained hidden in the shadows of anonymity, began to reveal itself, like a secret kept under lock and key, like a mystery that was finally being unraveled. We discovered that Silas was not just a beggar, a man without a past and without a future, a specter on the margins of society. He was fictional name, a brilliant engineer, a visionary who had worked on secret projects for NASA, a genius of electronics who had revolutionized the industry with his innovative ideas, a master of invention who had transformed science fiction into reality. But for mysterious reasons, for disillusionment with the system, for personal choices that no one understood, Silas had abandoned his life of success and taken refuge in the streets, like a hermit in search of answers, like a sage who sought the truth in the silence of anonymity. And the most surprising of all, he was a former college colleague of Elon Musk, someone he respected very much, someone with whom he had shared dreams and aspirations in the past, someone who knew his soul and his vision of the world. The truth about Silas, like a lightning bolt that illuminates the darkness, revealed a complex and surprising story, a narrative that challenged our own understanding of fate and chance. We discovered that he and Musk had been colleagues at Stanford, that they had worked on projects together, that they had shared ideas and dreams, that they had inspired each other in their quests for innovation. Silas was a genius of electronics, a master of invention, someone who could have transformed the world with his ideas, someone who could have achieved the success and fame that Musk achieved. But for reasons that we still do not fully understand, he chose a different path, a path of solitude and anonymity, a path that led him to live in the streets, away from the brilliance of success and fame. And as fate plays tricks, as life surprises us with its twists and turns, it was on this path that he crossed Musk's path again, on that fateful day in Palo Alto, as if the universe had conspired for them to meet again. And the most surprising of all, the small object that Silas gave to Musk was not just a piece of metal or a circuit board, an ordinary object without any importance. It was a small invention that contained the solution to a complex problem that Musk was facing in one of his projects, a problem that prevented him from moving forward, that threatened the future of his company, as if fate had placed in Silas's hands the key to Musk's success. And what happened next? Why was this story kept secret for so long? Why did Elon never mention Silas in his interviews? And what was the real impact of this meeting on his life, on his trajectory, on his worldview? And what if Silas's story was much more complex than we could imagine? A story that could show us that genius can arise anywhere, and that chance can lead us to unexpected paths. The impact of this revelation was like an earthquake that shook the foundations of our understanding of Elon Musk's story, a twist that made us question everything we thought we knew about the billionaire. Silas, the beggar who had been erased from history, emerged as a fundamental character, a missing link in the official narrative, an anonymous hero who had changed the course of history without seeking recognition or fame. The truth about his identity, about his genius, about his connection with Musk, led us to question everything we thought we knew about the billionaire, about his trajectory, about his worldview, as if we were facing a mirror that reflected a different image from the one we have always known. And what if Silas was, in fact, the architect behind some of Musk's most brilliant ideas, the mentor who guided him in the most difficult moments, the genius who shared his wisdom with the visionary? And what if Silas's story was a lesson in humility, a lesson about the power of empathy and human connection, a lesson about the importance of valuing the people who cross our path? And what if, behind the facade of solitary genius, there was a story of gratitude and recognition that we do not yet know, a story that would inspire us to value human connections and seek the truth behind appearances? The truth about Silas, the beggar who changed Elon Musk's trajectory, leads us to a deep reflection on the power of human connections, chance and second chances, on the importance of valuing the people who cross our path and recognizing the impact they can have on our lives. Musk's story, which has always been told as a saga of self-reliance and individual genius, takes on a new dimension, a new meaning, as if the truth were revealing a more complex and surprising plot. That improbable encounter, that gesture of kindness, that spark of hope, all reveals to us that success is not a solitary journey, that the most unlikely people can have a profound impact on our lives, as if fate were always conspiring to connect us with people who can change the course of our history. And Silas's story, who chose a path of solitude and anonymity, teaches us that genius can arise anywhere, and that recognition and gratitude are essential to build a fairer and more humane world, a world where all people are valued and respected, a world where empathy and compassion are the pillars of our existence. The revelation of Silas's true identity leads us to question the official narrative of Elon Musk's story, to deconstruct the myth of self-reliance and to recognize the importance of empathy and human connection, as if we were facing a mirror that reflected a different image from the one we have always known. Silas's story reminds us that, behind the facade of success and power, there are people of flesh and blood, with their vulnerabilities and their life stories, and that the encounter with these people can have a transformative impact on our lives, as if life were a great puzzle where each piece is fundamental to the formation of the whole. Silas's story shows us that genius is not an exclusive gift of a few, but a quality that can arise in anyone, regardless of their origin, their social condition, or their life trajectory, as if life were a great orchestra where each instrument has its fundamental role in the construction of the symphony. And Silas's story teaches us that recognition and gratitude are essential to build a fairer and more humane world, a world where all people are valued and respected, a world where success is not measured only by material achievements, but by the quality of our human relations and by our ability to inspire and transform the world around us. Silas's story leads us to question our own worldview, to reflect on our own human connections, to reassess the importance of empathy and compassion, as if we were facing a mirror that reflected our own values and choices. And what if, instead of seeking success at all costs, we prioritized the construction of genuine and meaningful relationships, as if life were a shared journey where each encounter is an opportunity for learning and transformation? And what if, instead of focusing on our own achievements, we dedicated more time and attention to the people who cross our path, as if life were a web of connections where each thread is fundamental to the formation of the whole? And what if, instead of judging people by their appearances, we valued their stories and their potential, as if life were a garden where each flower has its beauty and its importance? Silas's story invites us to rethink our way of life, to question our values, to build a fairer and more humane world, a world where all people are valued and respected, a world where genius can arise anywhere, and where empathy and compassion are the pillars of our existence, a world where success is measured by our ability to inspire and transform the world around us. Silas and Elon Musk's story, with all its mysteries and revelations, is a powerful reminder that life is full of surprises and that the truth can be much more complex and surprising than we imagine. A reminder that chance can lead us to unexpected paths and that human connections can change the course of our history. That improbable encounter, that gesture of kindness, that spark of hope, all reveals to us that success is not a solitary journey, and that the most unlikely people can have a profound impact on our lives, as if fate were always conspiring to connect us with people who can inspire and transform us. And Silas's story, who chose a path of solitude and anonymity, teaches us that genius can arise anywhere, and that recognition and gratitude are essential to build a fairer and more humane world, a world where success is not measured only by material achievements, but by our ability to inspire and transform the world around us. We hope that this story has inspired you to look at the world with more curiosity, to value human connections, to question official narratives, and to seek the truth behind appearances, to recognize that genius can arise anywhere and that chance can lead us to unexpected paths. Leave your comment below. What did you think of this story? Your opinion is very important to us. Share this video with your friends. Help spread this message of empathy and hope. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any video. Leave a like if you enjoyed our investigation and our story. And remember, the truth can be more surprising than we imagine, and genius can arise anywhere, in any person, in any circumstance. And what if, instead of seeking success at all costs, we prioritize the construction of genuine and meaningful relationships, as if life were a shared journey where each encounter is an opportunity for learning and transformation? And what if, instead of focusing on our own achievements, we dedicated more time and attention to the people who cross our path, as if life were a web of connections where each thread is fundamental to the formation of the whole? And what if, instead of judging people by their appearances, we valued their stories and their potential, as if life were a garden where each flower has its beauty and its importance? And to finish, we leave you with one last question. And if you had the opportunity to meet someone like Silas, what would you ask him? What would be your message to that man who, even living in the shadows of society, had such a profound impact on the life of one of the most influential men of our time? And what if, instead of seeking success at all costs, we prioritize the construction of genuine and meaningful relationships, as if life were a shared journey where each encounter is an opportunity for learning and transformation? And what if, instead of focusing on our own achievements, we dedicated more time and attention to the people who cross our path, as if life were a web of connections where each thread is fundamental to the formation of the whole? And what if, instead of judging people by their appearances, we valued their stories and their potential, as if life were a garden where each flower has its beauty and its importance?